So yeah, that time of the year again. May. The biggest highlight of the year, the biggest holiday of the year, in my eyes, is approaching. The Eurovision Song Contest is almost the closest I get to a religion. So for me, this is a very special time right now. The Eurovision Song Contest has a long history. It's 57 years old this year. And even though a lot of people make fun of it and mock it, it has played a more important role in European history than a lot of people either are aware of or think of, and both in terms of the history of culture and actually politically even. But that's another story that I'll save for another time. In this video, I want to talk about the prejudice that surrounds the contest and whether or not they are actually correct, because I believe that critical thinking is very important, always, and maybe especially important when it comes to prejudices that everyone accepts, things that everybody knows, about people from other cultures. The Eurovision Song Contest began as a way to gather Western Europe when we had more or less gotten back to our feet after a very, very devastating war. And over the years, the contest has grown, sort of in the same time period that Europe, in a way, has grown. In the beginning, only Western European countries were in the contest. Over the years, Eastern European countries started to join, more and more of them. This is something that I think is wonderful. A lot of people like me think is wonderful. The more the merrier. But unfortunately, the results have not been all positive. The Eurovision Song Contest is intended to build bridges between cultures, create cultural fraternization, but for some people, quite a few people, the participation of the East countries advocated more distance than anything else, because people see it as being two big blocks, East and West, that somehow oppose each other and fight each other. This perception is created by a lot of preconceived notions about how things are actually connected. And in this situation, as so often, critical thinking is our friend. And I'm making this video because if you, who are watching this, is one of those people who go around believing this East versus West kind of thing, then please examine your prejudices a little bit. Because it's pretty sad, I think, to see that that perception is very often rooted in something that is not pleasant to witness, which is the fact that people are pathetically sore losers. Because it wasn't always the case that the general public resented the participation of the East countries. On the contrary, we appreciated their participation. All this negativity that we have come to expect from the media and from the man in the street, that was not visible at all back when the East countries first started competing, but sucked ass. Because at the beginning, they didn't really get it. And they just did very, very badly. They didn't get anywhere, but they were in the contest, but they bombed. And we, the West countries, went on winning. And back then, people here in the West used to think it was so nice to have them there, and etc., etc. But then, this is the beginning of the last decade. We might say, in fact, exactly 2001 was the year things started to change. Because that was the year when it sort of loosened up a bit. The snowball started rolling for the East countries. And they started winning. And they started beating us. Year after year, they won and they got the best results, filling up the scoreboard with the best results. And that's when this anti-East thing started. So in other words, it's okay that they're in, as long as they don't do better than us. You can be in the contest, as long as you don't do well, and certainly not better than us. Which is pretty pathetic, You should win and lose in the same frame of mind. It's the participation that counts, etc. But that is true. That's okay, is the general opinion, as long as victory is fair, which it isn't when the East countries win, right? Because they only vote for each other. It's like corruption. Everybody knows that. But even though everybody knows it, it is wrong. For the past few years, this negative criticism has sort of died down a bit because West countries have also been winning. But it's gonna come back. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it now and take a skeptical look at it now, so that all of us, or at least certainly me and my friends who I first to listen to my theories and those who watch this video, will be better equipped to resist its siren call when that happens. And I'm going to start what I think is my starting point, the year 2007, where these kind of criticisms reached their temporary highlight, or high point, low point, whatever you want to call it. 2007 was an excellent year for the East countries. It was a shitty year for Scandinavia, maybe especially Iceland. They didn't get through to the final. It turned out that they had come 13th in their semi. The 10 best got through to the final. The Icelanders, they were beyond furious, and the shit just came pouring out of them. Interestingly, they were not willing in any way to accept any criticism on their own performance. Their complaints were that they had a fantastic song, but the song didn't matter. It only mattered how many friends you have. And various East countries just got through because all the other shitty countries down there voted for them, no matter how crap their songs were. This would then be, let's see, Bulgaria, Belarus, Georgia, Moldova, Serbia, Macedonia, Hungary, Slovenia, Turkey, and Latvia. That just got through on their buddy votes. But the Icelanders didn't accept any criticism on the fact that, even though their song really was fantastic, the performance was unbelievably dull. The performance was so boring that it totally ruined the entire entry. Everybody had seen it umpteen times before. No. That had nothing to do with it. It was just the buddy voting that ruined their chances. When on the Sunday, it was revealed that of the 77 points Iceland got, 46 came from the rest of the Nordic countries. This was passed over in silence. Anyway, the Icelanders were beat out, and then the final arrived, and in it, the East countries ruled the roost completely. Us poor West countries, we had no chance whatsoever. Serbia won, and down the top 10, it was just East, East, East. Literally, just nothing but East, with Greece as a possible exception if we accept them as honorary Western Europeans. And starting already on Saturday night, bitterness and aggression just flooded the Western media. Because this was totally due to buddy voting and nothing else. Because the East countries, they only vote for each other. And it has to happen. This is the inevitable result. We should just back out of the entire thing, just pull out, we'll never win again. Maybe we should divide the contest into two, one for the East countries and one for the West countries, because this is pointless. With their buddy votes, they will always win. But is that correct though? No, it is not. For one thing, there are some obvious logical short circuits in play here. Like Bosnia and Herzegovina, for instance, they gave Serbia their 12 point. And then someone will say, oh, that's because they're such good friends and they like each other so much. If you actually think for 30 seconds and you still actually believe that, you need to go read a book about recent European history. Seriously. 2008, Russia won. And a lot of people said afterwards that their song sucked ass, but they got so many votes anyway because everybody likes Russia. Again, an obvious short circuit of that person's logic, those people's logic, because many people said this. Or tremendous ignorance. Hello, nobody likes Russia. Another part of this is that we have to accept, both here in the West and down there in the East, we have to accept that the way the contest has become, you cannot win if only your friends vote for you. It doesn't matter who you are. In order to win, you need the votes from East and from West. Half is just not enough anymore, and that is what the East countries have managed to figure out. Because a lot of people are going around thinking that only the East countries vote for the East countries, while here in the West we have much better taste, and of course we refrain from this, fraternizing with these low-class countries. We vote for the quality Western entries. Which, of course, doesn't go very far to proving that buddy voting is wrong, if it was true. But it isn't true. The best song wins, and the best song is the song that everybody likes. And that is the key. As I said, in 2007, the East countries dominated the final totally. And afterwards, a lot of people thought that Serbia should not have won. I could not agree more. I was cheering for them from the very beginning. Molitva is my favorite among the now more than 1,200 Eurovision entries ever. And Serbia's victory was the best thing that could ever have happened to the Eurovision Song Contest. Seriously. There are so many almost identical entries. And from 2001 to 2007, it was especially bad. There are these songs that sound almost identical, performed by beautiful, skinny young women who have long, fluttering hair and wear skimpy little dresses and who sing in English no matter how bad their English is. And then Serbia. And it was Serbia. Of all the contestants, it was Serbia who sent this chubby little bull dyke with a bull haircut and glasses who wore a three-piece suit. She performed in Serbian and then they win the whole fucking thing. It was fantastic. It was the best thing that could have happened to this contest. Absolutely fantastic. But a lot of people disagreed and they felt that this should not have happened, and it wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for these goddamn buddy votes, which was just ruining the whole competition. And in this scenario, people actually approached quite closely blatant accusations of corruption, which is criminal in every European country as far as I know. And to say that people, and in fact an ethnic group of people, don't deserve to participate in a contest is kind of far out. It's pretty hurtful, and especially when said group has just won said contest. It may be especially hurtful just then. But let's look at this. If it is true that the neighbor votes, the buddy votes, the friend votes, which come from your neighboring countries, if that is the decisive factor, then removing them, right, that changes everything. Doesn't it? I mean, it would have to. You know, if you take the top 5 in 2007, including all the votes from both the East and the West, then you get this. This is the actual top 5 2007. So now, if we take away the East votes, so that only our more valuable, more exclusive Western votes remain, then the top 5 should totally change, right? Okay, this is the West votes, top 5 result 2007. The reason why they win is not that they all vote for each other. The reason why they win is that we vote for them too. I'll give you one guess. Who got Norway's tenor in 2007? Of course, we got the 12 we gave to Sweden, which many Swedes consider practically their birthright, but the 10 went to Serbia. That song will win that everybody likes. And we ourselves took advantage of that with our crushing record victory in 2009. Buddy voting, it happens everywhere, and there's nothing wrong in it. As such, it's not about corruption, it's about how countries who are culturally close to each other will be more likely to find music that they like in each other's musical scenes than from countries that are culturally more distant. But the buddy votes, they're not enough. They're just not enough. The song that wins has to strike a chord with viewers all over Europe, and exactly in the way that the creators of the contest imagined, unite all of us across borders in musical fraternization. So the next time the criticism against these countries comes up, which is will do, then I hope that you at least who've seen this video will think a little farther and just don't howl with the wolves. Because the East countries, they're just doing the best they can. Here in the West, we rarely do that, but when we do, then we win too. And before you start talking about how somebody deserves or does not deserve to be in the Eurovision Song Contest, I think that we should look in the mirror and ask ourselves who it is who deserves to be in the contest when not even we ourselves can be bothered to vote for the garbage that we submit to it. Yeah, I'm just about done talking about this now, but I will say, every story has at least 2 sides. And it's not about winning, it's about competing. There are more than 40 countries competing in the Eurovision Song Contest, and there can only be one winner. So let's stop focusing on who wins, where they are in Europe, East or West, whatever, and just have fun with the contest and all the crazies who are flocking to Malmö from all over Europe, from Russia in the East to Portugal in the West, from Norway in the North to Israel in the South. This is a unique happening, and we should be happy to have it. And I think that deep down, Most of us are. And finally, I hope that this will still make sense on Saturday, May 18th. Vote for Finland.